Good evening. My name is Glenda Carlin, and it is Tuesday evening, January 13th, 2026. Um, and this meeting is from 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time right now. And then I record it and put it on YouTube. This is being recorded and it goes on YouTube later. One thing I'm trying to be, Lynn and I were just talking about being in the now, and I'm trying to be aware of what thoughts that causes me to be aware of what thoughts are going in my mind. So the thought came up, explain why you're called light bearer, Glenda. I go, then I go, okay. And then we'll get into this teaching for tonight. I forget how many years ago this was. It has to be after 20, around 2020 or so. I was receiving an email from a lady who channels Jesus. And I've been to some of her in-person meetings and a retreat, etc. And in it, Jesus was talking about, of course, the light that we are. And within that teaching, the word light bearer was in there. And that voice, y'all know it. You may not know you know it, but your gut and your intuition, that's your new name, Glenda, light bearer. And that's and why. And see, this still shocks me. Honest, it shocks me and humbles me that I had no idea practicing saying all of it to whatever showed up in front of my face for almost over 4 years. And see what that was, I didn't know what I was doing. That's called integrating your practice with your daily life. Now, Lynn was just talking about, and I'm going to have her express herself in a minute, how she's incorporating what I'm teaching about the nowness awareness. And she says what I'm teaching is different than how she's heard it before. She's going to be talking about this, but the point is, I didn't know it. But in 2014, I was starting to integrate the hugest spiritual practice we can. One of the hugest, the second one, stretch it. But it's Jesus's advanced forgiveness, where we're thinking of a person as all of it. All of it means they're God. There's only God. They're all of it. Or you are spirit, whole pureness, and looking beyond their body and thinking about them as clear light. That's in whatever shows up. You people at the grocery store, the gas line. Lynn was tutoring. You're in your church meeting, but we get stuck in words and we forget to stop and look at the person that's talking and think of them. You are spirit. You are the clear light of spirit. Well, when I did that, unbeknownst to me, the arc of light opened, got released, and the great ray started to download. Folks, this is wild. This is wild that this great ray comes in and goes out of my body. And it comes in and goes out of your body as well, but at a smaller scale because this stuff hasn't awakened yet, but it is awakening. So that I'm a light bearer in that I'm a vessel, a channel, and now I've relaxed enough that it naturally goes out. With the breath, the light energy expands and contracts with the breath. That's how it is. Just when you ever stop and just focus on your in breath and your out breath, which we're going to talk about tonight, the great ray light causes that breath in and out, but there's a rhythm to that in and out breath, and that same rhythm is within everything, fueling everything. Well, anyway, so that came up here. Then at the very beginning to explain that, but also before the meeting started, I was talking to Ed. It was like 7:01 or something like that. No one had come to sign in for the meeting yet. And of course, the small mind is thinking, well, la-di-da, maybe there's not supposed to be a meeting. But real fast, that gut, that voice that I know is Holy Spirit says, oh no, I want this meeting to occur. I want you to give this teaching no matter if no one shows up, because I want this on YouTube. And I go, okay. Because whoever's going to hear it got ears to, what's it called? Ears to see and eyes to hear. They'll find this teaching in the right time at the whatever, you know what I mean? Okay. So tonight's teaching, thank you for coming out, you sweet souls, you blessed lights. There's Christ Buddha Ed, Christ Buddha Lynn, Christ Buddha Angela, Christ Buddha Liz, Christ Buddha Julia, Christ Buddha D, Christ Buddha Glenda. Da da da. Of course, we're when the sonship is we're all of one mind, and that one mind is God mind. So there's only God everywhere. God is everywhere or he is nowhere. Oh, now what comes up is I wore this. I didn't do it. I didn't decide this. I was going to the bedroom to put something on, and I was going to pick just a color, a brighter color. And it, again, that voice goes, no, I want some sparkle because your teaching tonight is about the shine of God's presence. And I want you to show them the sparkle that they are. And I went, oi. So I went to the other closet, and this is a sparkly jacket for the holidays, right? It's got sparkles. It just sparkles. See how this look? Just kind of look. I want you to look at this, not for the vanity of it. That's not it. This is your true nature. This sparkle. Then these earrings got selected because they're a sparkle. They got a sparkle. Look, I'm turning them. Just look at this light. This is you. This is your essence. This is God's presence that's here right now. This sparkle. I'm not kidding, this sparkle. Now, the topic of tonight is seeing and living from within God's shiny, sparkling presence. Now, why this came up is I didn't go to that one-day Zoom retreat that Lama Surya Das had with Lama Roger Walsh and his senior students January 4th, but Dee went. Dee was there sometimes. Ed was there. But I knew that whatever teaching was important would come to me. And sure enough, last Saturday, Nathan, the leader of that day's our Dzogchen LA Zoom meditation, he was leading the group and he talked about what he considered the main things from that whole day. And the main teachings were first, Lama Surya Das, he had a quote. See, he's a professor of finance at, I think, UMKC, University of Kansas City in Missouri, something like that. He is a damn qualified professor. This boy, when he hears something, he can dang write it down. So he had notes. And so he quoted this Lama Surya Das because the topic of that one-day Zoom retreat, wait, let me find it. Folks, this is very important. Every Terry Wagers would laugh because I go, this is important. This is huge. The topic of that one-day Zoom meeting was the art and practice of cultivating presence. The art and practice of cultivating presence. So here's the quote that Nathan wrote down that he said, Lama Surya Das said about presence. Oh, it's in the email that I gave you. Here's the definition about presence. Oh, and I want to clarify. Predominantly, Lama Surya Das's students and Lama Roger Walsh are Buddhist. And Buddhists don't per se believe in God. So they have to be careful that they don't turn off their listeners, right? Because in a heartbeat, something I could say could turn one of you off. And if you're not aware, ego's waiting right there in the backdrop to just say, enough of that woman. Stop going to those meetings. She's not listening to that anymore. Because it does not want you hearing things I've got to say. They'll use any excuse. So they have to be careful. But I've heard podcasts where Lama Surya Das actually has said, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly which podcast it was. He said, he said, I wrote it in the email, believing there's not a God is bullshit. I know, and I remember the word bullshit because I thought, dang, that's coming out of this holy enlightened being. But believing not in a God is bullshit. Because if you don't think there's a higher power, he went on and he says, that's bullshit. Because, yeah, there's source. There is source. And sometimes in our Zoom Zochin LA meeting, there's attendees that'll go, I don't even like using that word source. And Timo will go, well, okay, but he'll say to him, now bear in mind, just consider if you're sort of irritated about this, guess what? That means you're in this. He doesn't define it to him. He asks him to consider it. Means you're in your egoic self reacting to something out here. That thing out there is not causing the problem. Like Lynn and I were talking about, it's the mind of that person who says, hold it, I don't like that word. Source. That carries some baggage for me. Or God, that carries some, well, hey, that's their thoughts. And of course, we haven't, in awakening, we recognize it is our own thoughts and our own feelings that we are reacting to. Unless now there's abusive relationships where people are physically and mentally abused. Now I'm not discounting that, and I'm saying don't put yourself in harm's way. Get out of those situations. Call for help. But the thing is, predominantly, it's our own thoughts, our own feelings that are going on in this small limb mind, and we take our holy divine awareness. Here comes Chaz, and we glue on to those thoughts. We attach to them, or in instances, we push them away. And so that pushing away causes an irritation. But anyway, we are in awakening. We are becoming aware of what we are thinking and feeling. We're becoming aware of all that. Anyway, okay. So here's the quote, but he doesn't use the word God, but presence means God. So presence is not what arises. Sensations arise and pass. Emotions arise and pass. Even the world itself arises and passes. Presence is that which is aware. Awareness itself, before anything appears in the brilliant mirror of mind, before subject and object, before interaction, before even the sense of, in quote, someone being aware. There's just the shine. We all have this simple feeling of being here, being now. It's so obvious we hardly notice it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So within his quote, he says, there's just the shine. Before subject and object, that's before two-ness, duality. Before interaction, to interact, there's got to be a me and a you. Before interaction, before even the someone, in quote, someone being aware, there's just the shine. Boy, this was so huge for me because I had forgotten that I had seen God's presence. And I looked at my notes. It was October 9th, 2025. I forgot that I saw this sparkling presence. And when I saw it, and I just describing it in my email to you all and talking about it, the word sparkly. I just kept using the word sparkly. And I even in that email apologized. I said, I apologize for using the word sparkly, but I've never seen anything so sparkling. And see, that's the shine of God's presence, because it is not a gender, but because he is so present, so with it, so in the now, so present that he gives off this effervescence, this shine, this sparkle, because it's like a bird electrified on a electric line. Like the bird, you don't go, the bird's going. I mean, in that ad, it is in the now. It is just seeing everything just as it is, which is purity. Awareness sees itself. God looks out and sees himself. His awareness is aware of himself. It knows itself. And that is you. You know yourself at a deep level, and you're uncovering this knowingness more and more and more. This presence has three qualities. This presence, this God sparkling presence, it's boundless. This came from Lama Roger Walsh in that 1 day Zoom retreat. It's boundless. And the second is clarity. It's lucid, meaning that God, it's awake. It's lucid. It's in the now with beautiful precision. That's why in Buddhism it says, with attention as meticulous to finely ground barley seeds, like flour, with little tiny, teeny, tiny little flour particles that's being ground so fine, but yet this awareness, this presence, this God, your Christ Buddha essence, it's precise. That when it is awakening, you feel like, oh, things look clearer, they look crisper, they're more defined. I see details. Things taste more beautiful. I feel texture. Taste is just, everything just is awakening to the precision of the six senses: the mind, sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. The last quality is knowing, a knowing. There's a knowing quality, a sharp recognition. So these three qualities are described as relaxed, alert, and paying attention. That's the qualities of awakened awareness, which is awakened awareness is God's presence. Back to that quote, it says, presence is that which is aware. Awareness itself. Just awareness. And people, I didn't even know what the hell awareness meant up to probably maybe even a year ago, or get even more refined in the last 6 months. But awareness means me looking at you. I'm aware right now of you. That's awareness. Just seeing Lynn, just seeing Ed, just seeing Angela, Chaz, Dr. Liz, Julia, Pete. That is awareness. That is your Christ Buddha vision. Now, you don't have to uncover anything. It's here now. That's why Lama Sri Das says it's a feeling of being here, being now. It's so obvious we hardly notice it. Because see, when you're in the now, I'm just looking at Lynn. I haven't started to label her. Oh, her background's a little fuzzy. Why didn't I don't like that background? I want her a little changed. Or I'm looking at, oh, I don't know, Chaz is driving. Oh, ego mind's thinking of something good and bad about that crap. No, I'm now seeing Chaz smile, seeing Angela with her glasses on, seeing Ed. That's awareness. Awake. Now, when we fall asleep, that's when we go into that labeling, sorting, naming, and evaluating. Those are the old habits that you're deconditioning from by bringing your attention into the now of what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Then you become aware when your mind wanders off into the past, present, or future about these events. And you come back, oh, back to the now. What am I doing right now? 100% fully present with what I'm doing right now without evaluating. So that call brings up then now, Lynn, if you want to unmute, Lynn, explain to what you said to me about you heard what I'm talking about is not what you heard about the now, please. You just have to unmute, touch your audio. Well,
Okay,
see,
got
oh,
it.
they
Okay. At
did
first, I
it.
couldn't find the button. Okay, I was just talking about how I've been really focusing on the nowness. And so when I'm really just listening to whatever I hear and not saying anything about it. Yeah, I hear a bird, but I'm not going to think about I let go of the that I have to name the bird or that anything has to be any kind of story has to be about the bird. In yoga today, I when I was laying there during final relaxation, I could hear the music, I could hear what the teacher says, but I was just in the present, listening and not adding any story to anything I heard.
Yeah.
Thoughts may
Oh,
come and go, but I was there listening to what was going on. I had my eyes closed. I could hear people moving a little bit, and I could hear the teacher, and I could hear the music. At one time, somebody opened the door and closed the door. I didn't try to decide who that was or anything, and I kept checking myself on that. That I don't need to name anything, and I don't need to make a story about anything.
oh,
That was it.
Lynn, what power that is, that's liberation. Because you're realizing more and more that means then you're in charge. Your awareness is focused on the now. You're not allowing, you're not agreeing with the thoughts and going off with them to glue more stories with them. It's huge because, like, you could have thought, oh, why are they coming and going? Nobody should be coming and going in this silent yoga deal here. I want that changed. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn.
You're
Wow.
welcome.
See, that's integrating nowness awareness in our daily life. Unless we integrate it, it can't come to full fruition, which is when instantly when a thought or feeling arises, it will self-liberate by itself without us being aware, without us actually going to hold it. I'm not going to go off with that thought. But this is part of the process to recognize, oh, there's the thought, but I'm not labeling that bird. I'm being with it, that sound. Then there's the next sound, just being with that sound. The door opened, being with the next sound, somebody moved. Wow, that's nowness awareness. Anyway, thanks, Claire. So, due to this, Nathan bringing up this quote from Lama Surya about there's just the shine. See, when she's in the now, each of you are in the now, there's a brilliant shine because you're in this moment, and from the unconscious comes this alertness, and this alertness, it's a shine, it's a presence. That's your nature, your true nature. But I had forgotten that I had seen the shine of God's presence. So I went back in my notes and found that something and found something I did, which I recommend you consider doing, a practice that caused me to see God's presence. And I said to you all, I've seen the promised land. Oh man. So two things occurred to me today or the last few days that would bring tears to my eyes. I'm so fortunate. The Great Ray has opened. I'm so fortunate. I've seen the promised land. I've seen God's sparkling presence. And you will too in this lifetime, not 7 lifetimes from now, this lifetime. And though for those that don't believe in reincarnation, that's okay. You don't have to. Just take care of this lifetime, being in the now. But anyway, here's the backstory why I could see God's presence. I put it in the, I believe it's in, yeah, it's in the email. I saw the Slavasuri Das post. And when I see posts like there's Rob Smith now, I repost, and Yogalanda, and there's different, I just see posts, you know how you see them. Some of them touch my gut, and I just reshare, I just share. But this one really touched me. I decided to practice it. And here was the practice, the exact quote, where he instructs practice eye gazing by looking into your own eyes in a mirror and noticing whatever comes up in the mirror of your own internal awareness. Look into who you really are. Well, hey, what the heck? I decided, oh, I'll do that. So I went into the bathroom, and it said, I had it open on my phone. So I re-looked at it. Practice eye gazing. Okay, by looking into your own eyes in a mirror. Okay, I'm gonna look in my eyes in that mirror and notice whatever comes up. So, hey, I did. So my sink's maybe, what do you know? Is it maybe 2 feet deep? So I'm standing at the edge of the sink, and I'm looking in my eyes in the mirror, in my own eyes in the mirror, and I immediately feel my head being drawn to the mirror. And that meant my body had to get over the sink. My head got within an inch of the mirror, and I'm looking. I look and it's focusing as I'm drawn forward. My attention's being focused straight, straight, straight. And don't you know, the two eyes change into one God eyeball. And I'm looking, and there's one guy, God eyeball. I'm gonna tell you, it's freaky. One guy, God eyeball. And in the middle of the God eyeball, it's like there was, I think it's the retina, the big dark spot in the middle. It was big. It was a black circle. And I looked in that black circle, and I followed I looked in the circle, and it went into a black corridor, a tight black corridor. And at the end or top of the black corridor, and when I was going down that corridor, I realized, oh, that's the great ray. I'm going up the great ray. And my attention was going up the great. I went to the top of the great ray, and there was this sparkling, just shimmering light there at the top. And it's just like what? Like I was in awe, like what? What? Now I kind of, when this was over, I kind of felt like it was God's presence. And I might have talked to you all about it that way, but I forgot all about this, folks. I did, because I had conditioned myself to believe that God's presence or source or whatever you want to call it, our creator. I don't believe in creation in Buddhism, and just isness, just the isness is clear light. It's called Rigpa. Well, because I realized one of the interim steps in awakening, due to that great ray opening, I was seeing clear light. I saw it. And I knew that meant purity. But there'd be times my mind would be obscured by all these thoughts and judgments and past judgments that would be brought up into my awareness. And I soon learned, man, I would journal that and practice forgiveness on anything that shows up in your mind. Well, first you letting it go, but after meditation or whatever, write down the names of these images and practice forgiveness on them. But anyway, what I want to share is, because I saw clear light, I just kept seeing clear light. And in most of the Buddha teachings is rigpa. It means clear light. I forgot all about the shine, the sparkling presence of God. And so when this came up, I brought back up my notes about this experience on the 9th. And do you know, it took almost 2 days to change, to decondition my habit of looking out, seeing just clear light, to where now I'm walking around and seeing sparkling light. It sparkles because it's so in the now. We're just in the now, in the now. Now I don't see it all the time. I'll remind myself to think of images, remember images are that sparkling light. But when I tune into it, because we're living our life here, folks. And so, but I didn't, I want to be honest that I really thought awakening meant there would be no more suffering. These thoughts would all clear up and go away. There'd just be all silence and quiet and stillness. And I'm not kidding you. I thought that way. And I think some people out there think that way. That's not how it is. This is called integration. This is integrating form with emptiness, heaven with earth, the body with spirit, the sparkling light, integrating it. It's not so it's not a point of trying to thought swat or deny thoughts or repress thoughts. It's learning due to meditation, sky gazing, space winging meditation, of learning to let thoughts come and go and becoming aware when my attention or awareness goes off and glues with a thought, to become aware of that and bring my attention back to spaciousness, openness, or glittering, sparkling. Just open up some YouTube video and look at some sparkling light. That's your true essence. Just visualize that. You're walking around in it. That's God's presence. That's your presence. That's your essence. Now, what I wanted to presence is that which is aware. You are cultivating nowness awareness, it's called. Now, what I'm talking about is not mindfulness. This is awareness. This is awareness. And also, it's not the feeling of love is not a quality. Remember, the 3 qualities of awareness is boundlessness, clarity, and a knowingness. Those are the qualities of awakened awareness, not love. Now, love is a byproduct because we're pure unconditional love. Because sometimes people go off tangents feeling this blissy hot tub stuff, and that's part of it too, where they've been suffering so long, you can enjoy that bliss, that quiet, that stillness, but you don't want to get stuck there. That's not the deal. In the Garden of Eden, the whole Garden of Eden was created by this sparkling shine, this injection of this light, sparkling light into all these forms to animate the bodies. They're all clear. They're all this sparkling light. Anyway, all right. Now, let's see. What else was I wanting to? Okay. Now, Nathan, bless his heart. Thank you, Nathan. The other Lama that was teaching that Sunday was Lama Roger Walsh. And he talked about 5 ways to access awakened awareness. See, I'll email those to you next week. I word processed this today because, again, the voice told me, well, how do these people awaken their awareness? Glenda, you're talking about presence. Awareness is presence. How do they awaken it? Well, here, Lama Roger Walsh, he's certified in this. So I'm just sharing what Nathan shared, and I hope I do it justice. The first one, how to access awakened awareness, is through deep relaxation. Now, if any of you have got a Planet Fitness and you go there, they got a hydro massage bed. Let me tell you, once you exercise or you just go in there and lay on that bed, it's hot water that rolls at a high pressure from your head to your feet. You just take a in breath and on the out breath, just go, oh, just relax, relax, and let that hot water pass through on all through the back of your head to your feet. Relax, relax, relax. You'll get so relaxed that you're in awareness, you're in stillness, you're in the presence of your essence. Relaxation, because you're dissolved. All those egoic thoughts that you're a body have let go. The edges of your body just relax. You're just relaxed. That's your natural state. And ultimately, we walk when you're awake and fully, well, as you awaken and fully awaken, you're walking around relaxed. You're relaxed. Let's see, that's written. So let's see, is relaxed, alert, and paying attention. See, you're not uptight anymore, contracted, like, oh, I'm so afraid. What the hey? And it's an unconscious fear because we've been through the wars, we've been through the hell. We're, we're contracted. It's the small M mind is ego, fight or flight, waiting to the big axe to drop. We don't need the big axe is not going to drop. We're not living in Iran or in a city where ICE is pounding on people's doors, etc. We're relaxed. We're in a peaceful state, a peaceful city, etc. Okay, deep relaxation. And here's what he said. Take an in breath, feel contraction. Then on the out breath, feel letting go, relaxing into awareness, relaxing, releasing, and dissolving. And what happens? You recognize, you get a recognition of feeling relaxed. The edges of the body have dissolved. That you're in that sparkling, shiny presence of God without knowing it. Second, intentionally yelling the word pith. Pith, pith. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but that is a word that's come down the Tibetan lineage. And what it is it's a moment during meditation, you quietly or out loud yell that word. And what it does, it startles. It startles this thinking mind and it lets go for a second. And you're let go into awareness, into awakened awareness. After you yell pith, there's a clear lucidity, this Lama Roger Walsh said, a stopping of the mind for a second to glimpse openness. And another way Lama Surya Das says it, attention, at ease. Attention, at ease. And see, you start to feel that letting go, that letting be. Then what happens? You start to become aware when you tighten up and you take that out breath and let go. Relax. What's it say? Breathe, relax, and smile. And when you're relaxed for that split second or 2 seconds, you're in awareness, awakened awareness. And now this sounds so simple, but if you do this, what happens if you do this for a few years, you save yourself 10 years of effing work because you're not contracted. You're in a natural state and it builds on itself where you accumulate instead of seconds of being relaxed, you're in minutes, then maybe hours being relaxed. Next, third way to access awakened awareness is trust. Now, I get this. I get all of them, but I really get this. I don't know if you remember. I haven't looked up exactly when. It's maybe 6 months ago, within this last year. It dawned on me one time during meditation. damn, ego, I'm not afraid of you anymore. And I said to my mind, I'm not afraid of you anymore. You can say whatever you want. You can feel however you want. I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm strong. I'm confident. I will adapt. I will get by. I know I will get by. I know I will. I know I can ask for help and the big powers come and help me. My friends, family help me. I'm not afraid of you anymore. But see, I actually said it. And then, but what this Lama Roger Wash, Nathan said, he told that group, I think there were 53 people or so there, that we fear our own mind. And see, I could relate to that. But see, it's unconscious. See, A Course in Miracles says, it says you fear God. That's the last thing you're going to let go of. You fear God because we've been taught he's a vengeful God. He's going to get, he's going to get even with you at that moment of death. You're going to hell. You sure is not going to feel peace or bliss or love. So there's an unconscious fear, hate of God. But more than that, there's a fear of our own damn minds because picture you've sensed or heard some of these mean ass thoughts that small m mind says to you that's going on. So you're kind of afraid. Well, whoa, what the heck? Unconsciously afraid, not really wanting to confront it because that, I don't want to make a war here. No, no, no. What's happening? I can adapt because you're courageous. You're a awakened warrior. We're not fighting with ego. Don't get me wrong. I'm not fighting with ego. I'm not doing it. And that means if I feel irritated or angry, then I'm fighting. I'm resistant, then that's this let go because I've learned to take that breath and let go and recognize relaxing versus tight or fearful. We are afraid to look beneath words and defenses. Trust this moment. Fall into now. It's always here for you. The trusting mind is not trivial, he says. This trusting mind, this is this higher Christ Buddha mind that you're naturally now becoming comfortable with. You know that mind will guide you, help you, along with Holy Spirit and the enlightened beings with your path. Fourth one's devotion as a way to access awakened awareness. Devotion to a beloved teacher. Now, due to some, Julia's here with Buddhist teachings that she follows. There's all these deities, like behind the Jesus picture, there's a Manjusri picture. Then behind me, there's a Buddha statue. There's all kinds of deities. Tara, who is like the big deity that cuts through all obscurations. I mean, cuts through it, pierces through it to this brilliant, shiny light, sparkling light. But devotion. Now, why is devotion to a beloved teacher? So you're picturing somebody you beloved. Maybe it's Jesus, maybe it's Buddha, maybe it's Mother Teresa, maybe it's the Dalai Lama. I don't know. It's someone you trust. And here's what he said: bring them to mind, feeling the warmth of their presence. And I say, this is big. Bring them to mind, feeling the warmth of their presence. Feeling warmth, appreciation, and gratitude for them. Relax into the warmth. See, here we're back to that word relax. But now you're relaxing into the warmth. That's a characteristic of this God. He's warm, he's loving. He cares for you. But see, that beloved teacher, you trust them. You're devoted. You know they're awakened. You know they're enlightened. They know they can help you. You relax, like in these different retreats or Zoom meetings I've been in the past. That Lama Robert Wash would say, picture the person standing in front of you that you emulate, you love and respect, and know they're holy and enlightened, and they have qualities you want to express and be with. Picture them in front of you, see them change into a ball of light, Okay, take your hand out and grab the ball of light, put it in the top of your head. See the ball of light descend down your central channel, through your head, down your central channel, and then that light ball of light bursts out at all the cells of your body. Now, see what that's doing? That's awakening all the cells in your body back to their natural state of this shiny, brilliant, sparkling presence of God. Because that holy enlightened being, they're awakened to this shiny light, and that light bursts out of every your cells. You feel the warmth of them. The last one is intensification, becoming alert while feeling relaxed. Picture an object in the room and really see every detail in it. Then relax while being fully alert and let go of the object you're zoomed in on, and keep the quality, of alertness, of sharpness, of precision. Awakened awareness is precise. It's really focused. Well, it's not like ego's focus where you focus on a single object and then you forget everything in the world. You're glued to that. No, this focus is a more general, boundless focus that at the same time it's alert to all the features of that object that you were looking at. When you looked at it, you're at all the details of it, seeing it fully as it is, not how we want it to be, not like Lynn said, naming it and labeling it and saying, well, maybe it ought to be a little different. No, you're accepting it as it is. So, so the 5 ways to access awakened awareness: deep relaxation, yelling intentionally the word pith, P-I-T-H, trust in these an enlightened being, to feel their warmth, devotion, relaxing into that. Oh, wait, trust is not being afraid of your mind. And you trust the moment, no longer afraid of what the mind's going to do or say. Just be in the now. Because when you're in the now, that think of mind, it's not there. In the now is where God lives and your Buddha Christ essence lives. In the now. Not the past, present, and future. Those are the 3 times of space and time, of duality. Of course, God's presence is here always, no matter when the mind's thinking of those 3 times. We're just not aware of it because the mind is somewhere else. The mind is thinking about a future event or some memory in the past. Now, with nowness awareness, I'm learning how this mind, small m mind, operates. Just kind of be aware, when you have conversations with people, then watch during the day how that small m mind will sometimes replay those conversations. That's what it does. It just goes back and replays some. And then become aware when people are talking, sometimes, and there's a question answering period later, you're thinking about, oh, what question you want to ask. Well, that's not in the now. But the natural tendency of the small m mind is to be thinking about what it wants to do while something's going on right now. That's its tendency. Because it can't really stay in the now. It's programmed to be in the past, present, or future. That's why that's ordinary awareness, small m mind, and you're cultivating this capital A awareness, this big mind, this Christ Buddha God mind, this big Christ Buddha God awareness, awakened awareness. All right, let's see what else. Let's see what else we got here. How we doing on time? Okay. Let's see what we got. Oh, so now what happens as you get awakened awareness? Everything changes. That's what I'm finding. Everything changes. How I think, how I breathe, how I eat, how I hear, how I walk. I'm aware my foot's going on the floor. My foot is in the shoe. My foot is walking on the floor. Everything's changed because I realized before I was asleep to these six senses of what was going on right now. And so what will happen is you'll be finding your own balance. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know. That could be over here. Your own way of living in the world. You're not copying people, how they dress or live or talk. Although as I awaken, I tend to pick up words that really touch me, and they became part of my new vocabulary. But I wanted to, let's see if it's in this. Oh, here. What it is, you find a balance between, because you're awakening to be your Christ Buddha nature, you're being an embodied Christ Buddha. So you're finding a balance of living in life. So here's a quote from a post I saw from Lama Surya Das, because as this awareness is awakened from me and all these senses, because I've awakened awareness, I'm aware of taste. For example, due to having a a little luncheon meal for 8 people, my sister and I decided to do just white albacore tuna sandwiches on toast, keto bread with chopped walnuts and cranberries and fruit platter and the cake and stuff. Oh, and some chips because it's like sandwich and chips, right? So at the store, I texted my niece this vision, which is causing the party of 8 to occur, family party. Uh, she would prefer baked chips. So there, sure enough, I was in the aisle for baked potato chips, and there's baked Cheetos. And I like baked Cheetos. I mean, I like Cheetos. They're like a favorite. So I thought, oh, I'll buy some baked Cheetos. So they're small bags. So I got 2 bags of Cheetos and one of the, oh no, I got of different flavors of these baked chips, 2 bags of baked chips, because there's 8 people and 3 of them are young teenagers. Man, they can eat like 4 meals in one meal. You just really feed them. So, um, so I opened one of those small bag of chips. I mean, Cheetos. And I was sitting in my living room chair. Oh, I tell you, folks, I've never tasted anything so good. And I thought, what the hey? I've eaten Cheetos before, but what is? And then I realized, hold it, everything's awake. Why the sun chip created the Garden of Eden and form was to experience being inside that form and to experience this shimmering light within the 6 senses. So it created a form with 6 senses on purpose. So one of them is taste. So I'm sitting there tasting these Cheetos. Oh, I end up to eat about half the bag. And I go, I think I should stop. Well, what I want to get to is, see, that's called indulging. Now, when I was asleep, I could have eaten that whole bag and not thought a thing about it you know, I'm just in monotonous behavior then, not due to its taste, although it was good, right? But here's the quote from Lama Surya Das that really kind of jarred my mind a little. Remember the Buddha's example when he pointed to how to, and this points to how you want to live your life, to a middle way. balance between the extremes of hedonistic self-indulgence and aesthetic self-denial. He stressed sanity, moderation, and a broad and inclusive, well-balanced golden middle. Reflecting on Buddhist wisdom, sooner or later we each should be able to come up with our own personally satisfying balance between need and greed. It is eminently achievable. And see what I did? I realized, wow, I get it. I get it why the sunship fell asleep. So they invented these beautiful forms and the six senses. And guess what? Put their awareness, awakened awareness in there. And they're seeing these sights, these beautiful sights of objects, trees, flowers, bodies. Ooh, just water, beautiful water. Smells of the beautiful flowers. Ooh, can you imagine the intensity of awakened awareness shot into the Garden of Eden and experiencing sounds, all those bird sounds, all the sounds of the wind, then the taste of the objects, then the touch to feel bodies, but then picture the feeling of a climax. Whoa, these are six senses that awakened awareness had not been involved with before. And they started really enjoying all this and got immersed within the taste of everything, the smell of everything, the sight of everything, this climatic feeling. And guess what? They get lost. When we're talking about nowness awareness, where you're aware of the now moment, but then you're lost for seconds, minutes, 15, 20, 30. Remember, we could be lost for months and years. Well, these awakened awareness, it got within these six senses. It fell asleep for, a few seconds. Then it really was enjoying everything. It fell asleep for minutes. Then when it really, really, really was enjoying feeling the body, the smell, and the sights, it fell asleep for hours. Guess what? Then it finally fell asleep totally. That's what caused the sleep. See what's happening? We're coming out of the sleep in the reverse direction. We've been asleep to the six senses. Like Lynn said, she heard a sound. There was a bird, didn't go off thinking about what kind of bird. Heard the door open, didn't go off with that one. Heard a body move next to her, didn't go off with that. Heard the voice of that instructor, but just let the voice go. That's awakened awareness. She no longer stuck in this asleep state of just being drawn into that sensation and gluing memories from the past. Oh, that's the other thing small in mind does. A similar memory gets glued onto that memory. And before you know it, you got a whole 10-minute discourse of associated memories going on, tapes, looping tapes of memories going on. So do you picture what I'm talking about here? Can you imagine awakened awareness going within the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, man and woman, and getting lost within all these senses? It just shocked the hell out of me. Because what happened, then awakened awareness went into self-indulgence, hedonistic self-indulgence. Now, some of these Buddhas coming out of this hedonistic self-indulgence, they deny everything. Dang, they don't want to even eat any food. Remember how Buddha got down where he wouldn't even eat a few grains of rice, and some woman came by and said, "Hold it, you look like you need to eat. You're going to die," and gave him some I forget what she gave him, rice or something to eat, and he ate it. That's when he realized he didn't get awakened by this denial of eating and this denial aesthetic denial he was living. It was a balance. So what I'm asking here is, as on awakened awareness, you'll each come up with your way of living balance between in form and this brilliant, shiny presence of God, your essence. That's what you're doing, because everything's changing. How you think, how you breathe, how you eat, how you walk. So it's all changing. And we're not here to go out labeling it and others as to how they're living, unless if they come to you and go, hey, you look different. You sound different. What's going on? Then you open up and tell them whatever you feel like sharing. Okay, before I close, let's do one of the hugest things we can do, which is think of our brothers and sisters as their Christ Buddha nature, as this shiny, sparkling that they are. Their presence, their God presence is this shimmering, sparkling shine that's in the now. There's Christ Buddha, the see-through Ed. Christ Buddha, let's see through Lynn. Christ Buddha, let's see through Angela. Christ Buddha, we see through Dee. Christ Buddha, Julia, we see through Julia. Christ Buddha, we see through Liz. To their pure, sparkly, shining God presence. To their, yay, I'm going to repeat that one paragraph. So presence is not what arises. Sensations arise and pass. Emotions arise and pass. Even the world itself arises and passes. Presence is that which is aware, awareness itself, before anything appears in the brilliant mirror of mind, before subject and object, before interaction, before even the sense of, quote, someone being aware. There's just the shine. We all have this simple feeling of being here, being now. It's so obvious we hardly notice it. I bow to the Christ, the Buddha, the sparkling, shimmering light in your presence. And that is realizing the presence of it in all awarenesses. I mean, in all bodies. Just because I bow to the presence of the Jesus, the Buddha in you, at the same time, I'm bound to that same presence that's everywhere. That's where one of the books in Gary Renard wrote, I forget which one, it says, they didn't believe in bowing or saying namaste to anybody because that was separating out that person. That's not where our awareness is. Our awareness is it's the commonality. But if I don't recognize it in you, how can I go recognize it in me or in somebody else? So we're we're doing it to as many people as we can remember during the day, whatever we're doing. And at the end of the day, we come back and look at your day, what people, images you were around, and where we forgot, I still do it, I forget to think of someone as the sparkling, shiny God presence that they are, and I'll dang do it. I'll see through their form to their sparkling, shiny presence. That's clearing up your day. That's practicing Jesus's advanced forgiveness and Buddha's Trechet at the end of your day. It's cleaning up your karma too. Yay. Any thoughts or comments is Lynn leaving? Before we go? Bye, Lynn. Thank you, honey, for coming out. Thank you. Any thoughts or comments before I stop the recording? Dee is saying goodnight too. Ooh, I love you. I love you, Dee. Thank you, honey. Ed saying goodbye. Bye. Love you. Okay, no, any thoughts or comments from Angela, Julia, or Liz before I stop the recording? Okay, I'll give you a moment. Maybe you think of something. There's Angela.
Hi, Glenda. Thank you
Hi.
again. You are shining and feeling the shine and everyone here.
Now you got your microphone by you. We need to hear you a little more clearly. Now, while we pause here, just be in the moment.
Glenda, and
Yes,
hear
there
me
you
now?
go. Yes, I can hear you now.
I just want to thank you for tonight, and that's very shiny what you have on, and that
Oh,
visual is beautiful, and all I can think of here, the shining, the shine that they are, the love that they are, the light, and that's what was speaking to me. And what came up, of course, is the Course in Miracles. You know, it says you are much too tolerant of mind wandering and are passively condoning your mind's miscreations. That sort of stayed with me on that quote. And you know how, you know, that's what I try to practice myself, um, is disciplining my mind and giving me the within, no matter what is going on around. If I'm aware of, you know, those thoughts uh, that bring me to um, seeing the shine in others or being at peace, I have to be aware and keep that disciplined mind. And so I just want to add that to, you know, this beautiful session and all the tips that you gave us tonight. And I think what I was seeing, if you can give me a moment here, was on your email. I think you had, oh, it was just beautiful, and I didn't hear you say this tonight. Maybe
hmm.
uh there was a few things. Um,
Oh, well, we'll wait because that's important. Yeah, I sometimes can't get it all expressed.
it was part. There's a part there. Uh, um, that you where you actually, it was like a little poem that you put on here.
Oh, the one about May something starts out with May.
Yes, you got that. Yes.
Okay, hold on. Maybe I can see I
It,
can. Yeah, and see what I did. I was listening to a podcast and let's see what page this is where Lama Surya Das was interviewing Ken Wilber. Let's see, I got papers mixed around here, so I'm not. And within they talked about Ken Wilber is saying to Lama Surya Das, he just really thanking him for sharing experiences he has about his awakening, because a lot of the teachers do not share, and therefore students aren't aware of different possibilities on the path. And that's why people tell me they like that I'm sharing my experiences, because it opens them up to possibilities that can happen on their path as well. And they don't have to happen, but it just opens them up. And so it made me open up the book, Make Me One with Everything, because that's what Kim Wilber was saying. He was really enjoyed and was thankful that Lama Surya Das had written it. And I went to that book. Here it is. I found it. It's on page 5. I opened that book, Make Me One with Everything, up, and it opened to page 156. And next week I'll read that whole thing. But within that, what this was describing from on that page and then the preceding page, Lama Surya Das was explaining how he lives his life, human life, as an awakened person. I've read that book a couple times before, never ran into really recognized. So, what better way to think of our way of balancing living in the a human life as a spirit than how this holy person that's been awake 40 or more years, how they're living a life. And in it, he ended with this poem: May I meet this magical moment fully and embrace life as it is, beyond notions of good or bad, liking and disliking. May I dance with life and meet her along the entirety of her gorgeous, sensuous body. Because see, now what he's saying is he's not denying the human form. He's not denying these senses, six senses, but he's beyond. We going, like Lynn was talking about, we're going beyond the notions of good and bad, liking and dislike. And that means we just become aware where we're thinking that, when that little end mind's thinking that way. That mind's never going to stop talking and thinking. We just become awakened awareness, so we're not wandering off with those thoughts, like Jesus is saying in the Course. We're finding our balance, living an embodied Christ Buddha within this world, letting that light and love. You're living as a channel, and you can bet your relatives don't know what's going on, but they're feeling things from you. They can't put a finger on, but oh, you're just a sweet person. Yeah, yeah, loving, sweet. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead,
I,
Angela.
thank you for repeating, like saying that little
Well, thanks for
poem.
bringing it up. Next
Thank
week,
you.
I will read his section because it can be an add-on to this, how we want to live this awakened life, a balance, a balance. Thank you, Angela. Now we're going to stay in chat, but Julia, do you have any comment or thought before I stop the recording?
Thank you
There's
very
Julia.
much. It was beautiful.
Oh, you sweetie. What deity is that? Tara right there in front of us?
Yeah, that's Green Tara.
Green Tara.
And she's
Wow.
shining. Shows us all
Yes.
this light coming out of her.
Yeah, look at that. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was cool
Thank
that
you.
you were talking
Thank
about
you.
that. That was the profile
Indeed.
I picked right before I came.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That picture showing our essence, our
Yep.
reality. The presence of God is shining through each of us. Okay, I'm going
Yeah.
to stop the recording. Thank you, but we'll stay to chat.